Uh-oh. It's going to happen. And boom. Happy Wednesday,
There we
everybody.
are.
1st of May, my father's birthday, by the way. And yeah, he turned double sevens. He said he should go play a slot machine or something. So I don't know. There you go. Hey, everybody. As you can see, at least right now, we're waiting for Ben to show up. We've heard no word. It's Caleb and I, and this is Camera Flask. Hey, Caleb. Good to see you.
You too. Just
Yeah.
a bunch of bald guys so far. Love it.
Yeah, that's it. I should actually be a little smaller in this frame, I think. This is I got giant head going on.
I'm all the way in. I could kind of do
Yeah.
this number and match. That's a little horrifying at this focal length. What is this, 28?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are we
28.
gonna do? Yeah. It's all right. We'll figure it out. Shout outs to Thaddeus, DJ, David, two Davids. We got Bill, Linda, made it. Good to have you here. Jeremy with 3 E's.
What's up, everyone?
3E Jeremy. Jeremy. And there we go. Beautiful. Can you believe, by the way, that we're only like 7 weeks away from summer solstice and the longest day of the year? It always trips me out because you're like, it's like spring is just kind of starting. Yep. And then the days are getting longer really so much faster. And then all of a sudden the days are getting shorter, but you're just like getting used to summer. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. And
yeah.
Enjoying the weather, though. I don't know about over by you, but it's been just amazing out here.
It was great for a while. Then it got crappy. Now it looks like it's coming back again. The good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, it's Camera Flask. Caleb, are you having a drink today?
I actually brought something for once. Remember to bring something. So I believe this is one of your old standbys.
It is. That's not the Caribbean. Which one is that? The 14
no,
is the no. Hold on. Don't say it. Oh, cognac. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's good.
Right.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's good.
The 14, very nice. Goes down super smooth. So I even brought a glass.
Beautiful.
Been slumming it for a while.
Like
so it's exciting to...
Wow. Okay. I'm going to change it up a little bit.
What do you got?
I'm having, this is an Oregon whiskey. It's called Broken Top.
Oh.
It looks like it's a little overexposed here, so I might have to come in from this angle. Broken Top. It's from Sisters, Oregon, on your way to Bend. It's aged 2 years. It's a straight bourbon whiskey. It's a combination of corn, rye, and barley. And it's 113 proof. So it's rocket fuel again. But it's not the Kulela. So here we go.
Linda is somewhat correct. I mean, it's subjective, right? Lighting. I would love to have a little bit of a kicker, soft kicker, so I can keep the dark on this side of my face, keep the ratio, but then because I'm just disappearing. But I can bring in a
little fill.
We'll do it live.
There we go. And I'm going to go make a quick adjustment.
I try way too much fill. I'll put my blanket back on.
All right. Things are happening.
Back it off.
What's up, kid? Whoa.
Back
wanted
it off.
Us to match a little bit more. My head's still a little larger, but
Yeah.
generally
I need to bring my key around, but I'm bouncing off a wall, and I can't really move the wall right now.
I like it.
It's probably when you start messing with your setup. There you go. Yeah. It's definitely Philly now.
Linda's happy.
Linda's happy?
David,
okay, good.
That sounds like a weird comment. Get that balloon tube. I ordered a double pack of those inflatable lights. David, I didn't get the brand I talked about yesterday, but somebody else made a post about a different brand, and I ordered 2 of those. They're coming in by the end of the week, so I'll do an episode on those. They're inflatable, Caleb, tube lights.
I started watching that.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish the video, but...
So, yeah, because Matt did a review on these other ones, but then somebody else mentioned a different brand. So those are the ones I ordered off of Amazon. So we'll see what happens.
They're not falconized, are they?
No. They're
That's definitely. I don't know about you. We have a debrief from the show.
well, that's what today's all about. I might feel like my head is too. Keep talking. I'm going to make my frame just a little wider. I get like a giant head. It's ridiculous.
Because one company I swung by, and I'm very excited to get their lights in. In fact, it's a mess in here. But let me swing this camera over so all you good folks can see.
Wait. Oh. There we go. Okay.
So my set used to be back there.
Right.
I completely ripped it up and brought it over where we are right now.
Right.
But I've got this triple desk, super mega island situation going here.
Yeah.
And Falconize, a Chinese company, they're making all those blow up lighting fixtures similar to the Infinity mats from Aperture.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put an 8x8 over here on the ceiling. So this entire area is just gonna have like Batman Begins soft light. And I might put a 4x4 here. So we'll see. But that seemed to be a trend that I noticed, was a lot of lighting companies have these like mattress style air diffusion.
Godox,
there are a lot of them. Godox, Aperture, Falconize. I mean, I was seeing them everywhere. All the little, you know, the Korean Pavilion had a bunch of them.
Korean Pavilion.
All that fun stuff. Got to get my fill back for Linda.
Yep.
So how do you want to do
Linda,
this?
Linda, what does that mean? Jem buys so we don't have to. What am I buying? Tell me. Oh,
the tube lights.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you know.
Well, before
Amazon
we go any
Prime,
further,
Amazon Prime. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And
cheers
chat.
to you.
Cheers, everybody.
All right, here we go.
Happy Wednesday. It's good to see everyone again.
Yeah, same. So Caleb and I, we spent some time together at the big show, and we walked the floor. You did your product launch with Small Rig, which was awesome. I was there for that. And there were 3 or 4 people launching products. It was you, Gene / Potato Jet.
Yep.
Who else?
Brandon Lee came out with an iPhone.
That's right.
Rig with an SSD situation. Yep. And then Andy Axe, I believe is the channel name here on YouTube. And they came out with like a Pelican case with some stuff like production DITE or grip little kit. I can't remember exactly what all is in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad to have the battery out. It was really weird, very strange seeing my face on paper and on a screen, and is
even though you took the photographs,
very odd. Yes, very. Yeah,
it's even stranger. Yeah, you take your own photographs for the product launch, and then you see them. I dug them though. I mean, there's that one shot of you holding the battery, and I love that. It's sort of like this hand is like right in the foreground with the battery, and then you're set back a little. It's classic Caleb, which is a good thing. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good. Yeah.
But what did you? So I saw some just tidbits of little things here and there. This is the first year I didn't do like a video breaking down stuff, and I didn't get as much time to run around and see things.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me. How do you want to do this?
My head is giant. I still want to go. Yes, we do. I still need to make my head feels so giant compared to yours. I got to go wider. It's bugging the hell out of me. Hold on. Yes, category by category sounds really good. Let's do that.
All right. Should we start with just Blackmagic and get the camera out of the way?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Let's do the Blackmagic thing. That's a little better. I feel like we're sort of hanging in the same region at least.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, Blackmagic. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that after the show, I talked a little bit about it in my episode, and we may have talked a little bit on the live stream. The 12K camera is a lot more interesting to me than the Pixis camera, which is the 6K, and for a number of reasons. Right. there's some head scratchers there. Number one, no built-in ND. This is the second camera in a row that they've done that with. And once you've had a camera that's arguably smaller or has less depth, and then you don't include that, that's a head scratcher to me, because I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are looking for that as a solution. And the second big thing for me that really turned me off was something you brought up to me, and then I went and saw it and confirmed it, which is the back of the camera has a lot of ports on either side of the battery bay. So if you don't want to use that battery as your powering solution, then you're going to convert that bay somehow and almost inevitably block all of those ports that are on either side of that battery bay. I'd say those are two pretty big things, though, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't give me the feels. I definitely go L
Yeah.
mount on that if I was going to go with it. I think it's the most
Mm-hmm.
versatile of the three. But the 12K camera was definitely more interesting. 17K, not sure yet. It's in the future anyway. But I think I think they did a pretty good job on that 12K. I'm still not buying that it's no cost consideration. We build whatever we want for the camera.
Right.
I don't know if it's completely thought out as well as it could be from that standpoint. What are your thoughts? And other people, please chime in with either an at the C47 or just a comment about the Blackmagic cameras. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm okay with the lack of ND because I think they were really like, you know what? Let's give the people what they want. They want a boxy camera. Everyone's talking about what they should be doing.
Yep.
We're just going to give them a cheap as possible sensor in a box, and we'll let them build it out how they want. There's plenty of room there for someone to come in and develop, like what's the one start with a K or Revolver something. They like black and orange, and they make like red ND adapters.
Oh.
That company.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's other companies who could come out with something like that. So I wonder if they were
Yeah.
like, let's cut costs, let's just really blow everyone's minds with this $3,000 camera. But then the two things that just completely ruin it are the screen and the rear of the camera, like you mentioned.
That's the
The
screen.
screen is
100%.
giant, and it's fixed.
And it's fixed on the side of the camera body, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
So I think if they to perfect that camera, they could have done two things. Three, I guess. One, tiny screen. I'm thinking like the size of like, I don't know, whatever this AirPod case is.
Yeah, AirPod
really
case,
small, a basic, you could fumble about and get through the menus. But it's really just there as like an AD or assistant camera little screen just to see, I'm rolling and this is the take or whatever.
Yep.
Kind of like they do on their little, all their little rack mount devices they sell. They could just take the screen out of that and slap it on the camera.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they should have launched a new video assist that locking USB-C allows you to use the menu on that. That way you put it on top of the camera or mount it wherever you want, any USB-C cable. Now you can completely control the camera. You could even record proxies or whatever you want. And then on the back, have the ports going out diagonally or at a 90 degree so that you have a big, fat, flat back to put anything you want on there. If they had done those things and maybe had one more version of the camera that had NDs built in, then it would have been like unbelievable slam dunk. Like if they had a $4,000,
the price is amazing. Yeah, I mean it could have been. Yeah,
they could have sold the camera for $4,000 and still been a slam dunk. But if they had done all those things and then had the ND version, then I think it would have been complete end game. But they completely borked it with the back of the camera. Because even if you block everything and use 90-degree adapters, you're not going to get media out of that camera or into it unless you use USB-C.
No, it's amazing after all of these years that they're designing a brand new camera body, and it's not as if box cameras haven't been around for a long time at this point. So you would think they would just get one of every. Z-Cam, Kinfinity, Red, you know, you name it. The Panasonic
Yeah.
one, like take Canon's one, take everybody's box camera and say, okay, what are the pain points of these? Let's get 5 DPs into this room,
Yeah.
and let's talk about each one of them and what they like and what they don't like in that product category, right? Because the 12K camera is addressing workflow issues having to do with a camera operator and an AC being on two sides of the camera, you know. And that's again the head scratcher is you've got 2 good size screens on the 12K camera, and you know, you look at this little camera. For if they had added $1,000 to the price point and that gave you a flip out screen or some other option, and they didn't make the mistake of what they clearly have done with the ports on the back of the camera, then you know, I mean, look, $3,000 is unbelievable,
Yeah.
but it's just there are things there that
It's
that I
confusing
just,
because I guess as you were talking, I was thinking, well, maybe they thought, oh, people will just buy it and use it as is. They'll put a little BP battery on it. They'll use the
yeah,
candle that comes with it. But the whole point of this box thing is to do whatever you want. So if you're
right.
going to lean into that form factor, you got to like really go for it. So
I
anyway, it's just
agree.
funny.
What do you think of the 12K
Um,
camera?
I didn't really look into it much. I kind of like scrubbed through the announcement. So I saw the new Pixis, and then I saw the 17 sensor. I didn't even really mess with it. What is this?
The
A new
three, you mean
version of
the
the
three?
12K?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
it's essentially a brand new 12K Ursa camera, but it's like redesigned the whole thing in terms of,
Right.
you know, feature set and what they're doing, and it will become
The
the housing
Ursa's
for the, huh?
good. Go ahead.
It's still called an Ursa something, but
All right.
it's their I think it's called their 12K Cine or 12K Cinema camera. It's sort of like
Okay.
everything. The wish list is all in there. Um,
Got it.
15 grand, 14 or 15 grand, and it will become the same housing that will house the 17K sensor. So they designed
Right. Okay.
the new camera body is designed to also hold that sensor. Not swappable,
Right.
but it's, you know,
Sure.
it's
Sure. Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Ursa Cine. Thank you, Thaddeus. Um yeah, and then I guess and more than one person has made a comment in here is Canon. You know, we're getting close to Canon being, I think, due to come to market with something. I don't know if it's going to be early summer or it's going to be early autumn, but I kind of feel like in the RF mount world that Canon has to come out with something in 2024. I would guess that they would. I don't know of any cameras right now, but I would think that they would. And also, interestingly, in that same space, did you see the announcement that Sigma has been working with Canon, and they're going to be, from what I understand, the first company that's going to be putting out RF mount lenses under a different manufacturer's name that are going to
Whoa.
be like autofocus, taking advantage stuff. So I find that really fascinating.
Very interesting.
And that was just in like the last week. So RF mount Sigma, and Sigma's doing great stuff. I mean, there's, you know, they've got some great stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Sony too.
then-
Sony. I've heard FX3 Mark IIs inbound. So
Yeah,
from the rumor
and
mill.
fingers crossed, higher megapixel count so that you can go to, you know, Super 35 crop and not be forced to shoot in HD. You know, because right now that's kind of like the Achilles heel against that camera to a degree. And people love using the Super 35 mode for things. It's very usable.
It's handy.
Yep. All right. And then I guess, you know, we'll see what happens with FX6, FX9. FX6 came out first. Is that correct? Before the 9?
I thought 9 was first, then 6, then 3,
Mm.
but I don't remember
I
exactly.
mean, either of those cameras, the 6 or the 9, could definitely at some point
They're
have a
all up
rev.
there, yeah.
Yeah, and
And the
you
6, all they
get
need to do is put a audio input jack on it without the handle, and
done.
they're in a good
They'll be
place.
okay. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have a question. I've got to scroll back. This is from Geology
Oh,
Dude.
geology
Yeah.
dude.
What lighting suggestions do you have for taking video in a cave with black color rocks that reflect very little light? Um, you have 4 60-watt battery powered COB lights. Well, I mean, you've already acknowledged and, you know, and basically posed the problem. You've given us the problem there, which is you're in a cave with black rocks that have very little reflection. And so it's almost like you're inside a giant, you know, cave of Duvetine. There's
Yeah,
not.
negative
It's gonna.
fill
It's
hellhole.
negative fell. Yeah, hellhole. And 60, 60-watt COBs aren't going to do a lot of damage. But what I'd like to ask you, Geology Dude, is what is it that you are trying to photograph or film in that cave with these black colored rocks that reflect very little light? Are you going to have talent in there? Are you actually trying to photograph the rocks themselves? Because that really will help inform some answers from us in terms of different ways that you can work on that. If you're trying to shoot the actual space itself, my advice is you're probably going to have to get some more powerful lights, more than likely, unless in that cave it's a relatively confined space that's not that large. But if it's a massive cave that goes on and on and on,
Hmm.
it's as if Caleb said, it's kind of your negative hill, negative fill, hell or whatever you want to call it. So if you could follow up with some answers there, I think if we understand what it is that you're trying to do, then we can get into that a little bit more.
If you're trying to do like a documentary style, like standing in the cave talking to camera and there's no camera movement, I would probably like hack something together where you do one like long exposure shot of the background and then film yourself in front of it, and you can
Yeah,
kind of
it's
get
not a
creative
person, it
there.
looks like.
If you're small, yeah, if you're
No,
just
it
filming
says,
and panning and moving the camera around, then you're just it's just going to be rough. And A7S with your ISO set to 12,800 or higher,
yeah, and I would
that's
say,
probably your
I
best
mean,
bet. Because that camera, you can go nuts. You could go to, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000, 32,000
yep. Even if you're
ISO
renting it
and get a
from
pretty
like
decent image.
yeah, if
Yep,
you're renting it from like
that's your
Lens
out.
Rentals, if you don't own it, um,
Is this a tiny cave like we're going like this, or is
well,
it
he
like
says,
huge, massive?
yeah, we don't know the depth of the cave, but it says there is a 6-foot diameter rock up 10 foot above the ground. I take pictures for photogrammetry. Um,
Hmm.
I think I think as Caleb said, you really want to go with something like a Sony, A7S series, uh, that's low light king, and and David is on the right track. So is DJ. Like a lantern, would be good because it throws light everywhere. But if you want it to be more directional, I would either bounce light, which would look the most natural, maybe from behind camera, or use a very large softbox. But those 60s are going to be rough. You
Yeah,
might triple or quad
yeah,
them up. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your light modifier, or like the new aperture uh, Bones mount reflectors or whatever they're called are terrible for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because it's going to give you
They're
a little
awful.
spot of nasty
Yeah.
hot. The old
Totally.
ones are the best because you're going to get just perfectly smooth I can't believe they're still using those. They're just junk.
Yeah.
I have one on
No.
light right now, and it's awful. It's like a
Yeah.
6-inch little hotspot, and then barely anything.
I hate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, geology dude, you really want to look. You want to look for the softest, most even key source that you can, and you're going to need to rely upon high ISO, low noise camera. Again, Sony, probably your best option, and then building out and bouncing or doing direct diffusion with the largest modifier you can. And trying to get it up a little bit higher. If that rock is 6 feet in diameter, but about 10 foot up, it's not really high, but it's still, it's pretty high up there. Bouncing light would be your best option. I'd probably say if you could bring it in there and you could rig it, a 6x6 bounce or diffusion would be great. But try to
Don't
do
mind me.
whatever you can. No, try to do whatever you can to eliminate those hotspots that Caleb is talking about, and maybe from a modifier standpoint, I'd definitely be leaning more towards something like not necessarily ultra bounce, because when you bounce off of that, you can get specular highlights and spottiness too. But magic cloth or something, beadboard is great as well. Compressed styrofoam, because when light hits it, it tends to just bounce off in all directions and kind of go everywhere. But generally doesn't have a hotspot. So I hope that helps. We may
Waiting
have
for
made it more
somebody to get
complicated.
nasty, DJ.
What do you say?
I didn't think it'd be this kind of live stream.
Just wait about another 10 minutes, CJ, and then it'll get interesting. No, I'm just kidding. David says, speaking of duvetine, I acquired a 100-foot by 4-foot piece on this weekend shoot I gaffed on. Supposedly it was used on a Guardians of the Galaxy film. Supposedly.
Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Well, you could use some of it's only 4 foot, but you could, use it to help tent a little, a space, block out light. But 4 foot's a little rough that way. But that's good. That's a lot of scraps. That's a heck of a scrap of duvetine.
Yep.
100 foot by 4 foot.
Love it.
David says, can you wet the rock to get more reflection? It's a great question, and I guess the question for geology dude is whether or not you want those, or do you want it to read as very sort of matte and flat when you light it, and that would help decide that, and whether or not you're comfortable wetting the rocks. Okay.
Yeah, I guess we didn't ask if you're photographing or filming.
It sounds like photographing.
Or unless I missed something. Because photographing, that's a whole new ballgame. Just long exposure to the crap out of that sucker.
Yeah, and you could also use strobes. You rent a strobe light.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bounce out
That's the way to go. Strobe.
Yep.
You could backlight everything nicely. Yep.
Red Kamadas, who's coming to us from Abu Dhabi, says, in the multiverse, there's a cave that reflects everything. In the multiverse, there's everything. You choose it. It's there. Maybe it's on Earth 3. Who knows? Okay. I don't really know anything about photogrammetry. Do you? Caleb?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Now we need an education geology dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Give us some more info. All right.
And of course, in the chat, let us know if there's something you saw at NAB or in the news around the show that you think we should cover.
Now, so we're out of the caves. Let's go. Yep.
So what else did you see? I saw the Lightcraft thing was super crazy.
Very funny,
really cool.
Yeah, the Jet Set app.
I have no interest in any of the iPhone stuff. The only thing I cared about was hooking it up to a real camera. And I wish I could have seen what they had a very short, pretty vague demo of a guy pouring acid in a pool or something. So I would be very curious to see what that looks like and how good that is, or not good.
Yeah, and that's really video,
the iPhone stuff.
That video
anyway,
was
that video, what?
The one that you're talking about with the guy pouring the acid stuff. that was shot by a guy up in Canada who used to work for Weta. So, there's also
Whoa.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's like a visual
Someone
effects
with
guy.
skills. Yeah,
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 skills.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
like his wife in the
yeah,
hazmat suit and everything. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Elliot from Lightcraft was telling me about it. But yeah,
That's
very
cool.
interesting technology there. Um, Photogrammetry makes 3D like video by meshing hundreds of photographs together. Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
All
So
right.
kind of like a 3D scanning with the camera situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's tricky then. That's really tricky. Yeah, you need lots. Yeah, I think forget the 60 watts and go all flash. Timed
Strobes. Yep.
strobes. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Get like a couple strobes and plant them in strategic places.
Geology dude, I don't know if he'll reply to you, but there is a fantastic photographer named
Mm.
Steven with a PH Alvarez. Look him up, Steven Alvarez. He shoots for Nat Geo. And when I used to, in the olden days, do Gearbox, I would converse with him a lot about stuff. And he's definitely on social. He does lots of cave based photographs, less so from what you're shooting, but more art. So stuff that was done, you know, in olden times, and they find these cave paintings. But he's amazing. So Steven Alvarez, and maybe if you reach out to him in social, he'll reply. Good dude and a fantastic photographer. All right, what do we got, kids? Let's do an at the C47. Do we have anything that's come up on the feed?
Not that I've seen. Brad says I just don't know what to think about the Blackmagic Ursa cameras workflows after remembering Linus from LTT considered their 8K Ursa cameras his worst ever business decision.
Interesting.
He's a little. I don't know if I'd base it off of LTT. I definitely the Ursas. I'd have no interest in those. But that's just me. I don't use DaVinci.
Yep. Yep.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
I've not seen. I've honestly. I don't think I've ever seen an Ursa in the wild on a set.
It's
here in
used a lot in
Chicago,
broadcast. A lot in broadcast
yeah, I see
because
a
of the
ton
switchers.
That's true. Yeah,
but
but even then,
switchers.
yeah. But a lot of those guys around here, at least Sony, JVC, Panasonic.
I want to ask you a question about sort of related to that, which I'm going to say. And just by the way, Ben McKnight's in the multiverse, the C200 shoots 10-bit. Well, it does shoot Cinema Right.
Yes.
It does shoot Cinema Light RAW, so it does actually shoot 12-bit, but not in a video form.
422 internal.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, HD64.
Long gone. Do you know how old that camera is now? I mean, it's ancient at this point. I have it right over there. It's down.
Stuff.
It's down over there. I did the training videos. Okay, so on to that effect, when you're talking about, we're talking about Blackmagic cameras. One of the Achilles heels of them is there's really no reliable autofocus system. But we're now starting to see with DJI, and there's one other company who has a product on the market, LiDAR-based systems, to hook up, manual lenses to get essentially autofocus out of any lens. How do you feel about that, Caleb, and everybody else?
I've not
Are you
tried
excited
them,
about it? Neither have I.
I not really. I feel like it's like I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's kind of a. I don't know. I've not spent a lot of time with them, so I really can't say whether or not it's reliable. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a cheap in between.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets really good, or if there's some, if it's super duper good, and if it's on par with what Sony's able to do. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? This is a Tamron lens.
Yeah.
But if it can do that every single time, like these Sony cameras, like these, I trust these more than. I think it's flipped now. It used to be like, oh, professionals can't rely on autofocus. No. Now it's more reliable than a human being, unless you're
on
going
Sony
for super
cameras. It
artsy
is.
pole. Oh yeah, So if it gets to that point, it's cool because you can bring all these old glass in,
Yep.
whereas obviously autofocus they need to have the optics for it. But I'm not particularly interested. But if it's super duper good, maybe I'll try it someday.
Yep. Cool. Sky says that LiDAR needs to be built into a camera. Add-on seems messy. Yeah, I mean, it's about as clean as it can get when you look at the DJI Focus Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a huge build out. I mean, I'm glad that products like that are coming to market. And if they are as reliable as a Sony AF system without probably the AI component of it that is getting built in, I think it's a good thing to have on the market for sure. It doesn't matter what I do with my camera to make myself try to match you, Caleb. It's like I just feel like I'm growing all the time. My head is getting bigger and bigger. It's unbelievable. Like I'm like I can't. I have to be all the way back here in order to match you. It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm at 28 and I'm close, so it's kind of a weird situation. I think I don't like it. I need to go 35. I think.
Really?
That would help. Yeah.
What else we got? Aton Digital is gone bust. Your opinion? I have no opinion because Aton Digital is not on my radar, Camille. Unfortunately or fortunately, just doesn't factor into things that I'm doing. So I'm sorry. I guess Thaddeus knows about this though. And were we ever going to see the Kodak camera that resurfaced and we thought was coming to market?
At the
like
at the
$6,000?
cinematographers, whatever. What's that one? Like it's an empty booth, but it's like exclusive. You only get in.
Oh, really?
The Society of Cinematographers or whatever
Digital
it is.
Cinema Society.
I think that's what it was in Central.
Yeah.
By the wall.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of people going in there with tickets and whatever, and I saw a couple of them, the Kodak cameras, and I was like, oh,
really?
Wow, there it is in real life. Yep.
Interesting.
But yeah, in real life, because it's like, we're doing this, we're going out of business. We're back recently. It's like, I don't know, man.
What is happening with that company? All right, other product categories. What excited you, Caleb? Because you haven't done
not a
lot, follow-up
or
episode.
I didn't look a lot, but the falconized lights, I saw those in person. Very similar to the Godox and not the Infinimat from Aperture, but the diffusion. I'm all about that. And the falconized ones, that's a company it's not super solid, but it's affordable and they do work. In the background, I've got a 4x4 mat that to date is my favorite flexible mat, but
really?
It's because it's super light. I was talking to, I won't go there because I've got, hopefully someday maybe there will be another signature Caleb product, but in this category. But right now, Falconize, the way they've got how light they are and how bright they are, so far, that's the best I've seen. But it's not the most high quality build. However, they have an 8x8, 4x4, 8x4, 2x4 configurations that use this. It's almost like an inflatable raft or an inflatable mattress. Yeah. But what's cool about theirs, they have a tiny built-in compressor
inflator
in the fixture.
Yeah.
So there's a button on the side, and the whole thing just and then packs back down. You don't have to have another accessory to air up and air down the whole thing. It's built in. Okay. So that's really cool.
So who's the other company that makes mats like that? They're American based. They're like in Denver. They make good stuff. And they make different mats in different sizes. You've used them. I forgot the name of the No. They're in like Denver, Colorado or something. And they make larger frame-based mat
IntelliTech?
Lights. Yeah, IntelliTech. Yeah.
That's what
did
these
they
are.
do anything?
Did
they do anything with
I think we're not the show. No,
Okay.
they haven't done anything with that. And their stuff's great. I've got two back
Yeah.
there, and
I'm
yeah,
worried
Top
about
Gun set, which I'm
moisture
going to
with
talk
all of
about.
these inflatables. You know,
Moisture,
yeah, because if you're outside, all right, you're shooting in
condensation.
New Orleans, yeah, condensation inside. I
Mm,
think long term they could get pretty nasty. It's not easy to clean those things out. It's not like you can just flush them. And then if you did, are you flushing them
on the
with?
inside.
Yeah, yeah, because air's going to get
Oh,
in there,
interesting.
and I'm wondering if
Yeah,
condensation gets in there, not only just the cloudiness part of it, because I've seen that happen with certain things, but
right.
just moisture getting in there, and then
Yeah.
mold or something like that happening. So we'll
Mm,
see, I guess.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, but it's kind of
okay.
a fun because we've done the soft like these LED like the lights in the background there. It's
Yep.
a soft box that you have to build, and it's super awkward to build those. And then you have the diffusion, and it's a whole mess to build out. Whereas the inflatable is instantaneous within reason,
Yep.
and you get that gap that you need,
Hmm.
and it's lightweight because those matte boxes like those lights behind me are rigged up monstrously. That is not an
Mm,
easy thing to set
mm,
up. That's what bugs me with these mats is, there's no perfect mat right now where it's big. So you have a big,
yep.
beautiful source like a 4x4, 6x6,
Yep.
where it's dims down. You know all about this. Dims down to almost nothing because
Hmm.
people are going to roll that right up next to talent,
That's what you
and you
want.
need to
You
be able
want
to
a
drop
low
it down to
glow.
nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, all these are too bright,
Yep.
and then they're too heavy. So by the time
Yep.
you build them up, you have to have a monstrous rigging setup. Whereas
Yep.
that Falcon Eyes, that is really lightweight. So anyway, but that I feel like we're headed in the right direction.
Mm.
For a while, I was like, I guess I'm just gonna buy a light gear light mat.
Yep.
But they're super expensive, and they're not.
Yep.
I feel like why don't we have solid 4x4 where we can put a magic cloth on it? There are all these weird sizes like 40x40 or whatever. So anyway, that
Four
was
by
cool to
four.
see.
4x4 get you, 2x2 can do damage, but a 4x4 for me is sort of like the perfect starting point for a key source, even
Yeah,
if you're going to push that through something bigger. Because a
right.
4x4 backed up a little with fill an 8x8, 6x6 beautifully, even an
Yeah,
8x8, and generally will more than likely be sort of in that 500-watt range in a 4x4,
right.
and that means you're getting a lot of output, especially
Yeah.
depending on how they design sort of the mat. So
Mm.
yeah, I hope we see more conventional sizes out of these mats. I really think they should just be 1x1, 1x2, and then you go 2x2, 4x4. Yeah, okay, you have to keep putting them together, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no 6x6 mats that you know of, right?
No.
I
And again,
mean,
I think
not
four
that
by
you
four
can
is good.
build
I'm
them.
mainly thinking
You
of
can,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. The problem is, we want the final form factor because yes, you can
Yeah.
get a soft box, you can push it through something, but again, you're building these massive rigs, whereas something that you can roll around through an office space and do an interview,
Yeah.
that's where it's at, or back right up against a wall.
Yep.
And yes, you can do, and rigging it's tricky to get the angle right. Now you've got a C stand with an arm, and now you've got all this stuff behind the mat.
Yep.
Um, so yeah,
Yep.
I think that's what we've talked about in the past. I think modifiers, that's the final frontier. We've got output, we've got color accuracy.
Yeah. You know what I'm getting actually in a week or two is have you heard of the company Cine Milled? They make a bunch of stuff and they sell a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, there's super
So
solid stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so they just came out with a new set of products called Cine Rags, and they're making
Hmm.
150 centimeter bleached and unbleached muslin modifiers for the light dome, like the big one. And they're going to
Oh,
send it to
nice.
me to see. So that's for like the 60-inch softbox. So they're going to send it to me to see if it
Right.
also fits the 150 Nanlite softbox, which I have over here. But I love that
Oh
he's
yeah.
figured out his own lane because everybody else has magic cloth, half grid, this and that. He's making unbleached and
Yeah.
bleached muslin for softboxes. And I
That's cool.
saw one of the gaffers on YouTube did an episode, and they are really designed to be really tight. You know, they don't flop at all. He said he
Love it.
designed them to be tight like a drum head. So that's what I
Nice.
like when they're taut like that. So
Nice and even.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's your own lane because nobody else is making unbleached muslin for softboxes. So smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Love
that's
it.
pretty cool. That wasn't an NAB thing. I saw it after NAB, and then I started conversing with him, and he said, you know, I want to see if it fits the nan lights. I'll send a couple up, and you can test them. So hopefully I'll have them soon, and I'll do an episode on them
Sweet.
because they look pretty cool.
Love it.
Okay, cool. Brad has some info as a trucker. They have these special air dryers that I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Decusant.
Desiccant. Yeah.
Desiccant. The little pellets
Desiccant.
that come in little do not eat this baggies.
Oh yeah, like the silicone
Keep things
stuff.
dry.
Yeah.
Cartridges to
Yeah.
combat moisture. That makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, they could have some kind of solution like that to keep it dry. It'll still condensate.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. That's the fun part about all of these new products. When they're shiny and new on a trade show floor, everything's perfect in the world. And then they come to market, and then hopefully they're still perfect. But every once in a while,
and I don't know if you want a queen mattress, air mattress on a stand outside. That might just be a bad idea.
Could be a really bad idea. Yeah, we've got some things to learn about. So I guess it'll be okay. We'll get there. And you know, people are going to be doing some stupid things with those lights too. You know, they're going to take them out and they're going to put the controller and some battery thing, and they're going to go down like the rapids. People are going to do stupid things. And you saw the control boxes for those Infinimats are gigantic.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah.
They're humongous.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else are we talking about? Other product categories. Come on, kids. It's very quiet here in the chat. 5 thumbs up and not a lot of other stuff. So let's get this convo going, and let me hear some things that you're excited about, you want us to talk about, any of that kind of stuff. And I'll just try to think. Nisi, the Athena lenses, they came out with 3 more focal lengths at the show.
Focal lengths. Yeah.
So they seem to be, moving forward. They're kind of the most interesting, like middle tier lens company to me right now. And we'll see where they go. They're not down in the Suray land where they're selling prime lenses for $340 to $400 each, but I think they're hitting a sweet spot there, and the quality seems to be there.
The one tricky thing is all these companies, like, everything's fun and games until you compare each lens to each other, and they don't match. Nisi's the one that's come the closest, and I would say their color is very similar, but the quality
between
of
each of the focus,
right. So from the ones I tested, which were the original set, color is very similar across the board. But the 50 and 85 are worth way more than what they're selling for. The other ones are worth what they're selling for. So the 25, 35, the 14 is really good too, but the 25, 35 are kind of meh.
Well, I'm interested to see what the 40 is, fuzzy. Because the 40.
Yeah, and I did talk to someone who I won't call out, but this person said that he didn't have the final lenses, but they're not necessarily, on par with the 50 and 85. The 50 and 85, I think, are $3,000 to $5,000 lenses that are $1,000.
Wow.
So if you just want a lens that's gangster, like this lens right here, the 50, the Nisi 50.
Yep.
This is like Canon CNE level lens
for $1,200.
Incredible lens. And $1,000. worth $1,000 for a PL mount, unbelievable lens. Same with the 85. The other ones, so we'll have to wait for the final lenses to come out and see how they compare. But that's what's cool about Nisi is they're like a whole nother level, and their color does match. So because up to this point, all the Mikeys and all that kind of stuff, they're just kind of sloppy.
Yep. Nice. All right. Can we talk about the glossy finish on quote unquote your battery, the 212 from Small Rig? As I'm sure you pushed to ditch it, but I'm guessing they didn't let it go. Not swinging.
Yes.
I'm genuinely curious.
Yep, that is the one thing that they wouldn't budge on. And I mean, I'm all about if it was up to me, the entire battery would be matte black. And on the whole, you'd see the little shiny screen, and the rest of it would just be like a textured matte black. You could put tape on it. It's the same thing I gave Rode a hard time with their Wireless Pro.
Yep. Is
that should be a matte black that I could put tape on, I could put Velcro on.
Yep.
But no, it's this shiny candy looking thing. The reasoning, and I can get it, is they want to stand out from other batteries, and they already have, they're building a line of batteries. They want them to look the same. I toyed with, and I still may, 3D print covers that snap on the back and just cover it up.
So for your own battery.
But yeah, that's
amazing.
100%. Yeah.
That's
I don't
great.
think there might be some contractual reasons why I can't do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the one thing I don't like about the battery. Otherwise, I love that thing. You can hold it more easily than the rest of their batteries. Their other batteries slip out of your hands. They're 99 Pros, but the 212, the grip, the pattern for the grip, the material of the grip, how much silicone, all that fun stuff.
That's great.
Yep. I don't
Thaddeus
care for the
says,
shiny.
Anything related to sound that was interesting in NAB? I didn't really pay attention to anything sound related. I mean, Rode came out with their little handheld, essentially wireless Pro, kind of. And it looked interesting. The only concern I have about that mic is, their reporter mic is a true dynamic mic. So that's a close proximity mic and is really good for, very noisy environments. And the mic that they just came out with is an omnidirectional. So in theory, it's going to be picking up sound from everywhere. I don't know if that's great for that. What's that smirk on your face, Caleb?
I saw a comment. I smirked a little bit, and then I looked at you, and you smirked a little bit, and then I smirked some more.
Well, I was smirking because you
it was just like a smirk spiral. So
is it Brandon's?
I just read Brandon's. Brandon, something about a battery level shape of Caleb's face that turns progressively more red. And I just smirked, and I looked at you, and then you smirked, and then I just smirk off. So anyway, as you were,
Caleb smirk off. That's your So Geology Dude coming in already getting cheeky in the chat. Early days. I think that Jem's head getting bigger in this video. It is because the drink getting bigger. All right. I think you fit right in, Geology Dude. You're here
welcome.
Now. Okay. Linda's cooking dinner. Interested to hear what you're cooking. Speaking of sound, our Porsche audio recording went to poop. All wind. Wow. I don't know what to say about that, Brandon. That sucks. You had that all planned out. You got to talk to Watson Wu. Reach out to him. He'll give you advice.
Get a blimp.
Harrison, a blimp. Is there a gold mount version of your battery, Caleb, or is it only V mount?
Nope, just V mount. That's all Small Rig is doing right now. So.
Sorry, Harrison. David says, anything else you'd like to see on an FX6 Mark II? Does it already have Genlock?
I don't know.
Does it record in 6K, or is it a 6K sensor that's 4K? I can't remember.
I think it's got a
5.9.
Oh man. I think it's a larger resolution sensor than the A7S.
But I don't think it records in anything higher than
No.
4K, right? Okay.
Yeah, they could
So
definitely
maybe
bump
that
up resolution and all that fun
6K.
stuff.
Yep. David, what about boom operator gear? There was one thing that looked great, which is from Easy Rig, and they actually have an entire vest-based system that is for boom operators now, and it's kind of ingenious.
Mm,
There's a video on it on News Shooter, and really smartly they made it so that if you already own at least certain versions of Easy Rigs, you can buy a conversion kit so you can go between a camera arm and you can go between the boom operator's arm, and it's really
smart.
well thought out. That was smart. Steak and potatoes. I could murder some steak and potatoes right now. FX6, add an EVF. Yeah. There you go. All right, we're caught up. What's next? Other product categories. Do you see anything else, Caleb, that kind of piqued your
The only
interest?
other
Did
thing
you
I
go
can
over
think
like,
of,
yeah?
that monopod was cool from YC Onion.
Theirs was my favorite of
Um,
all of them because there was like three of them
mm,
on the floor. Sue
right.
Ray's, iFootages, and YC
Yep.
Onions. And YC Onions to me was the most thought out, easiest to deploy.
Yep.
The iFootage one, I saw the new the Shark Nano 2 looked amazing, but the monopod, every time I grabbed the release and stuff, it was a little sticky and it just didn't,
Mm,
it wasn't like the YC Onion. So I think YC Onion was the best of those.
obviously, Potato Jet's tripod's a rock star.
Yeah, as
A
long as you don't hang on it.
little, yeah, and there's not a lot of, you have a smaller camera system.
Yeah.
I had not seen them. I don't know if they're new or not, but Breakthrough filters. I've used their filters for eons. They're out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across their tiny booth, and they had these incredible PL ND adapters and really nice filter system. You completely can customize the adapter. You can even change the grip mounts and the color of the anodized aluminum grips for changing your lenses. And I was like, wow, I thought it was a completely different company. And then later I was like, oh my goodness, that's Breakthrough.
Wait, so are they
So
rear filter PL? What's the
they're whatever you want to PL with interchangeable
with an
filters.
interchangeable? Makes
They have
sense.
like a stacking locking filter system. So you can have like this little block of filters that can go
Yep.
into your adapter and stuff. So it's kind of niche, but they look cool. So
That's cool.
and
Nice.
I've got a set of like Breakthrough NDs that I've had for eons, and they're awesome. Before Polar Pro, the cool kids showed up trying to be like, whoa,
Hey,
we're so cool.
look at us. Polar Pro.
Yeah.
Cool.
Otherwise, I don't know if
Yeah.
there's much else. But I was only there
Batteries for lights.
a blimp.
Batteries for lights. I mean, I didn't really go down the battery route too much. I mean, there's Caleb's, but
Mhm.
Core had a lot of stuff.
Mhm. Oh,
at
that
their
was
booth.
cool. Oh, that was really cool. Their situation. I'm not
Yeah.
wild about. There's some things I don't like about it, but the direction they're going is great.
Yeah, they're definitely thinking about sort of future ecosystem for batteries. And I think we're probably a year or two away from people not even going out and buying a 2K, putt for a generator, gas powered.
Yeah.
I think we're getting to that point. We're pretty close now, but the great thing about a gas based generator is as long as you have gas and some oil, you can run that thing indefinitely. But there's huge
Right.
downsides to it, including noise being huge. So I think we're getting there. I think we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yep. So what else we got?
I think that wraps up what I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I didn't peruse
How's it
everything.
4:00? It's 6:00 already for you. How did that happen?
Oh yeah. Oof.
Oh my God.
Gone.
We're done.
Just
Unbelievable. Tesla battery wall on a dolly. Thumbs up from Brandon. There you have it. Listen, kids.
Yeah.
Keep creating. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the good fight and getting work. It's all going to be all right. It always works out in the end.
We'll check on Ben.
Most of the time.
We'll make sure he's okay.
We will. I'm sure he is. I probably have an email saying he's on the road or he's on an oil rig somewhere. He's in flying lessons. He'll be fine. He's resilient, and he'll be good. Caleb, love you. Great seeing you.
Jem,
Thanks to everybody. We'll be back in a month, as long as it all works out schedule-wise, with another Camera Flask. I'll keep doing these daily episodes, and I'll be back next week with one of my weekly live streams where you can come and ask all kinds of questions there. And that's what I got for you. I got to go shoot a Camera Flask, a daily drop. Caleb, take care.
Chat, Jem, good to see you guys again.
Same. All right. All the best, everybody. Where's that finish button? Come on, Ecamm Live.
Oh.
All right. Big shout out to them, too.